1,000 years before Columbus, 800 years before Vasco da Gama, an empire from South India had already mapped the seas, built the largest naval fleet in Asia, and controlled trade routes stretching from Africa to China. Then they disappeared, and history forgot they ever existed. In the 9th century, the Cholas emerged from the Kaveri Delta, transforming from a marginal clan into South Asia's most formidable state. Vijayalaya Chola's capture of Thanjavur marked the start of a revival, reclaiming lost lands and establishing a new center of power. His heirs, Aditya I and Parantaka I, pushed outward, securing the ports of Pumpuhar and Nagapattinam, gateways that funneled trade and revenue into the heart of the kingdom. By 985 CE, under Rajaraja I, the Cholas controlled not only the sea routes linking India to Sri Lanka and Southeast Asia. Their dominance rested on more than military might. Inscriptions on stone and copper reveal a bureaucracy that taxed, recorded, and mobilized resources at unprecedented scale. In 1010 CE, Rajaraja dedicated the Brihadiswarar temple at Thanjavur, its granite walls inscribed with the empire's wealth and reach, a monument to statecraft and ambition. In the shipyards of Nagapattinam and Pumpuhar, the Cholas built vessels that could cross the open sea, not just hug the coast. Tamil inscriptions name the Kani, a sleek war galley with both oars and a square sail, and the Sangara, a broad-bellied merchant ship designed to carry tons of cargo. Shipwright guilds drew on teak from the Western Ghats and iron from the Kaveri Basin, shaping double-planked hulls, fastened with iron nails, and sealed with coconut fiber and resin. Archaeological finds off the Sri Lankan coast reveal hull fragments matching these descriptions. Solid, salt-resistant, built for endurance. Chinese chronicler Zhao Rugua, writing in the Ju Fanji around 1225, described great ships from the Chola kingdom able to carry hundreds of men and heavy loads across the Bay of Bengal. These were not fishing boats. The merchant Upu Kapal could haul pepper, silks, and copper as far as China, while the war galleys bristled with catapults and firepots. Every launch was a feat of logistics, timber levies, labor quotas, and royal edicts coordinated by a bureaucracy that treated shipbuilding as a matter of state power. With dual propulsion, oars for rivers and sails for the monsoon winds, the Chola fleet was engineered for both speed and stamina, ready to strike or trade from East Africa to the South China Sea. On the Tamil coast, the order went out to assemble the fleet at Nagapattinam. Rajendra Chola I, a king whose name is stamped into copper plates and carved on stone, demanded nothing less than a navy fit for empire. The Tiruvalangadu inscription, a slab of hammered copper nearly a meter wide, records the call for timber, grain, iron, and men summoned from every corner of the delta. Shipwrights and guilds worked side by side, building war galleys, troop barges, and cargo carriers, each one measured for speed, strength, and the open sea. Timing was everything. The fleet waited for the southwest monsoon, the great wind that blows steady from June through September and turns the Bay of Bengal into a highway eastward. Chola navigators, reading cloud patterns and the angle of the sun, chose the narrow window when the winds would carry hundreds of ships and tens of thousands of men across 1,200 kilometers of open water. War galleys bristled with catapults and firepots. Transports carried cavalry, infantry, and stores of rice and water. Supply ships loaded with grain and dried fish followed in tight formation. Every detail was planned, from embarkation at Nagapattinam, to staging at the Andamans, to landfall at the mouth of the Malacca Strait. The Cholas were not improvising. They were executing a campaign mapped on monsoon charts and carved into the annals of kings. Rajendra Chola's armada surged east, hundreds of ships vanishing into the Bay of Bengal's blue horizon. For weeks, oars and sails fought the open water, pushing past the Andaman staging posts and into the jaws of the Malacca Strait. The fleet's war galleys led the charge, prows bristling with siege engines and firepots. Behind them, troop barges packed with infantry and cavalry, and supply ships stacked with grain, water, and iron. The crossing spanned 1,200 kilometers. No coastal landmarks, just sun, stars, and the relentless monsoon wind. Landfall came at Kedah. Chola warriors stormed the port, breaking Srivijaya's chain of tribute and seizing the gateway to Southeast Asia. The fleet did not stop. Lankasuka fell next, then the riverine strongholds of Sumatra. Each assault was swift and overwhelming, temples looted, rulers captured, tribute loaded onto ships bound for the Tamil coast. Copperplate inscriptions record the aftermath. The king of Kadaram forced to bow, gold and elephants sent as submission. Rajendra's victory was more than plunder. He ordered a new capital, Gangai Konda Cholapuram, built with stones and spoils from the campaign, its name proclaiming mastery of both river and sea. The Cholas had crossed half the Indian Ocean, shattered an empire, and returned home as undisputed rulers of the waves. Merchants from the Chola ports sailed with holds packed full, pepper, textiles, bronze, and gems moving out, gold and silk pouring in. Inscriptions detail a customs system that taxed imported bullion at 2% and exported spices at 10%, filling royal treasuries with revenues that rivaled land taxes. Archaeologists have unearthed coin hoards at Nagapattinam and Quanzhou, mixing Chola gold with Arab dinars and Chinese copper cash, proof of a currency network that spanned continents. Tamil bronzes and temple foundations appear as far as Cambodia's Preah Vihear, carved in the same style as Thanjavur's shrines. Overseas, Tamil artisans and priests built sanctuaries, leaving granite and bronze signatures that still stand today. The Chola world was not just a chain of conquests, it was an engine of wealth and exchange, powered by the skills of traders, shipwrights, and sculptors who moved between empires as easily as the monsoon winds. By the 13th century, the tides had turned. Pandya chiefs seized back the harbors of Nagapattinam and Pumpuhar, stripping the Cholas of their maritime lifelines. Geological surveys traced the Kaveri Delta's silt-choking ports that were once deep, grounding ships that once crossed oceans. Copperplate inscriptions thin out, recording fewer ships and fragmented royal orders. While Arab and Chinese vessels adopted the nimble lateen sail, Chola shipwrights clung to the old square rig, losing the edge in changing winds. Centuries later, European translators missed these Tamil and Chinese records, leaving the Chola navy adrift in the footnotes of world history. Asia's greatest armada crossed oceans before Europe even dreamed it. The Cholas were not a footnote. They were an empire. If that is news to you, subscribe. History is bigger than the textbooks admit.